Hello my loves, this is Noor from Latakin's Noor Kitchen, and today we're gonna make Russian honey cake. That's right, there's basically 3 different ways you can make this amazing cake. The hard way, the harder way, and the hardest. And the way we're gonna do this is the first option, but it's all gonna worth it because once you've finished, you're gonna be enjoying one of the most beautiful and delicious cakes of all time. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're gonna need to do here, friends, is burn some honey. So let's go ahead and transfer some butter into a pan, about 3/4 cup. We will place over medium heat, and then once our butter melts, we're gonna go ahead to add our honey, about 1/4 cup. Here I'm using white flower honey, but I have to think pretty much any honey is gonna work in this. And then what we do after that is add in 1 cup of sugar, and I know I just said we're gonna burn the honey, but that's not really true, alright? All we're really gonna do here is cook this until it's look like 1 shade darker and sort of take on the aroma of caramel. And then once the sugar is melted and it started foaming up a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and transfer 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. Not powder, baking soda. And this is probably gonna foam up more, and you don't want this to spoil over your stove, so you go ahead and use a deep pan like this. But anyway, I went ahead and cooked mine until, like I said, it kind of darkened up a bit, and I started smelling that distinct aroma of caramelized sugar. And then once we've pushed that as far as we want to go, what we'll do is turn off the heat and let it cool a little bit until it's warm to the touch. Alright, not super hot, just pretty warm. And then what we do once this is really warm to the touch is just go ahead and add 3 eggs. So we go ahead and whisk those before adding them. Then we're gonna add them little by little to our caramelized honey and sugar. And relax, this is not so hot that it's gonna scramble those eggs. And what we do once our eggs have been mixed is simply go ahead and finish this up by adding 4 to 5 cups of all-purpose flour, which we generally don't want to do all at once. So what we do is add in this in 2 or 3 additions, and as soon as our additions being stirred in, we'll add the next. And once all the flour's been added and stirred in, we should be looking at somewhat thick but still fairly soft dough, and if you press it with your fingers, it will not be teared. So this is just looking about perfect. And now all what we have to do is cover it with a plastic wrap and let it rest in the fridge for half an hour or an hour, or you can leave it overnight if you want. That's gonna be fine. And while we're waiting for that to happen, we're gonna go ahead and prep our last major component, which is our creamy filling / frosting, which we're supposed to make in a very big bowl. Alright, we're gonna mix 1 liter of whipped cream in addition to 1 cup and a quarter of powdered sugar, and to that we'll go ahead and add 1 package of vanilla powder. Last but not least is our optional 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. Now we mix this up, okay? I have this really interesting bowl set. When the bowl senses the liquid is up to the top and it's so much liquid to be mixed, the bowl expands and gets slightly larger. You can see here how it grew a little bit, and then you're able to mix it. If you can find those are a really nice product, and the rest is easy. Okay, when we whip cream, it has to be very cold, especially if you're gonna do it by hand. And to make the process easier, we're using our electric beaters. And whether you're using hand mixer or the electric one, this process will get you to burn off the exact same amount of calories as 1 slice of cake. And what we want to do here is whip this until we have soft peaks, and then continue whisking until we have fairly stiff peaks. Alright, we don't want to go far and make butter, but we do want this mixture getting fairly stiff because it has to hold up all those layers, and that's it. Once our cream is done, we can start to spread our dough. So I took the dough out of the fridge, cut it into 10 equal-sized balls, and then what we need to do is roll out all of those balls one by one into a circular shape. And to do that, please roll them immediately onto a baking sheet. And this is where we have to be patient. Well, this cake is simple, but it does require time and effort because we're gonna roll out each layer of the cake individually. But at the end, it's so worth it. And you know what? You can do the layers, cook them, and once cool, just pop them in a plastic bag and to the fridge. So that's gonna be easier for you if you have a party. That way, all you have to do here is assemble the cake one day before your party take place. And despite the fact that it has so many layers, but at the end, that's what's gonna make it beautiful. This is its beauty, okay? Once it's rolled out, we're gonna go ahead and take the cake mold to cut it in a clean round shape and then take away the excess so we can roll them again. But before taking that to the oven, we need to poke it. We're using a fork in order for the layers not to rise once it's cooked. Now, what we really need to do here is using a big pan. So I put 3 layers in each pan. And then once our layer is rolled and set into the pan, we're gonna cook this in a 180 degrees Celsius oven for about 7 to 8 minutes. And that's it. We only have to do that 4 more times, which is why it's an advantage to have more than one big pan and one seal bath. But anyway, what we want to do as soon as that comes out of the oven is very carefully slide it off the pan and on the table, which is gonna allow it to cool a lot faster. And then once all your layers are totally cooled, you can take one of them that shape is not that good and make your crumb mixture with it to cover the cake. Okay, so put that in a mixer and pulse it on and off until we have some fairly fine crumbs. And then once that's set, we can start to assemble. So bring a dish and put your cake mold on it. Put the first layer and then 1 tablespoon or so of milk, and then we go ahead and transfer around a generous cup at least of our whipped cream and spread that out as evenly as we can, almost up to the edge. And then the next layer, and of course once we're putting this on, you're giving them a nice gentle rest. But anyway, we'll continue creaming and caking until we have 1 layer of cake left. So maybe save our best one for the last. And that's it. We go ahead and frost the top, and then I have some horrible news. We have to refrigerate this overnight or longer to enjoy it in all its glory. So let it set overnight. Well, I was impatient. I waited only for 2 hours and took it out. So don't do like me. Let it take its time just to settle and get firm. And then once that happened, we're gonna cover it with our crumbs. And for that, we will let the crumbs fall like this, and they basically bounce onto the cake and stick onto the whipped cream. And it's gonna be up to you to decide how you should be putting these on. But I like to cover the sides with a little bit of the top, at which point I'm gonna garnish with some fondant base on top, which I made in a previous video. So if you want to know how I did that, go ahead, watch that last video. And by the way, cutting a nice neat first slice out of one of these cakes is not the easiest thing to do, but well, to my surprise, that also worked out better than expected. It really is shockingly light in texture, but with a very profound, deep honey flavor. So to summarize, I was very happy with how this came out, and I celebrated by cutting another slice so I could do a fully food style plate, take some pictures, and more importantly, eat some more. But anyway, that's it, my take on Russian honey cake. And no, it's not easy to make, and it does take a lot of time and effort, and it's so worth it, and that comes from someone that doesn't even like cakes. So whether you're making this honey cake for your honey's sake, or you're just in the mood for a challenging bake, I really do hope you give this a try soon. Thanks for watching, and if you liked my video, please make sure to subscribe, like, follow and share so you can help me get more people to reach Latakian's Noor Kitchen. See you later!